Want to get these episodes early? Head over to anchor.fm/Campfire Ashes or wherever you find your podcast to be able to check this out early before it hits YouTube.
Grandma was so thoughtful to give you this gift, Johnny. Just put it on the shelf and thank her later. Mom scolded and placed the creepy porcelain doll on the shelf above his desk. She just needs to see it once, and then you can put him away, okay? John sighed and nodded, returning his attention to his book. Lights out in 10 minutes, okay, sweetie? Okay, Mom. She closed the door behind her as she left. No matter where he hid that damned doll, it kept finding its way back into his room. John thought for sure he'd gotten rid of it this time when he watched the trash men throw him in the back of their garbage truck and he saw the doll crunched up by the compactor. But here it was, not a single crack in the porcelain, sitting on his shelf, staring at him. John wanted to look away, but every time he did, the doll moved. His grandmother mailed the doll to him along with a letter. Something about how it used to belong to Grandpa before he died, and she'd forgotten about the doll until she was going through things to sell before she moved. John was 15, certainly too old to be playing with dolls, but Grandma insisted he only likes boys. It was just John's misfortune that he was the only grandson. He'd never met his grandfather. He lived in the old country, as his mother lovingly referred to her place of origin, along with her mother. Grandma had been to the States several times to visit before, but whenever anyone asked about Grandpa, she always had the same answer. Grandpa doesn't like to leave it alone. John always assumed she meant the house. After all, they live in Russia, and it's unpredictable what could happen over there with the weather. His mom said she didn't come from money, so maybe they couldn't afford a generator to keep the pipes from freezing. John never really questioned it. He always felt unsettled around his mom's side of the family and figured the less he saw of them, the better. Grandma was planning on stopping by for a day or two before she went off to her new home. She wouldn't tell us where she was going, just that once she settled in, she'd invite us out. Mom guessed it wasn't too far if she was going to stop in to visit on the way. John didn't know much about his mom's side of the family, and his mom liked to keep it that way. That's just how it worked for them. Even Dad didn't have much more to share about his in-laws whenever he was pressed for information. "Lights out, Johnny," Mom said from the doorway. John, startled by her voice, dropped his book. When did she get there? He hadn't realized he let his mind trail off this long. He turned off his lamp and said goodnight as she shut his door. Grandma comes tomorrow. Just get through the night, he thought to himself, pulling his blanket over his head and turning to face away from the doll. Just get through the night. John awoke to the sound of his door creaking open. It startled him, but only for a moment. This wasn't uncommon. The cat liked to come in and curl up by his head at night. He closed his eyes and started to drift off again when he felt the small thud of the cat jumping up on the bed by his feet. The cat slowly walked up along his back, feeling much lighter than usual, stopping behind his head and settling down. Suddenly, John felt a searing pain in the back of his head, and he jumped up to turn his lamp on the nightstand. He looked down to see if he'd startled the cat when, next to him, he saw not his cat, but the doll, holding a clump of his hair. John slowly reached up and felt the back of his head where the pain centered to feel a bald patch that was sensitive to touch. "What the fuck are you?" He picked the doll up and got out of bed, marching it down the hallway to his father's office. "Sorry, Grandma, but fuck this thing," he thought as he grabbed the matchbox on the fireplace mantel. He took a final look at the doll, who looked to be smiling menacingly back at him, and threw him on top of the wood. John struck a match off the matchbox and tossed it onto the doll's cloth outfit. It lit up fast, like dry brush in a wildfire. Almost instantly, this thing disintegrated, despite its body being porcelain. John poked the fire out and sifted through the ashes, making sure every last bit of the doll was gone. Satisfied with his work, John returned the matchbox to the mantel and went back to his bedroom, shutting and locking the door behind him. He settled back into bed, happy with himself, and figured he'd just play dumb in the morning if anyone asked about the doll. John drifted off to the first peaceful night's sleep he'd had since Grandma sent that doll to him. But moments later, John's eyes flicked open when he heard the click of his door unlocking from the outside.
I hate porcelain dolls.
Oh my god, me too.
I hate them so much.
Same. I don't like
So,
dolls to begin with.
as soon as you started talking and you were just like that porcelain doll, I'm like I already hate it. I already hate
You're
this
like,
story so much.
nope, I'm out. So specifically, this one is related to Charley the Haunted Doll.
Okay, I don't know this.
So Charley, I often get confused with Robert, which is another haunted doll I will probably talk about eventually, so there's your warning.
Okay.
Robert is along the lines of Annabelle, so Charlie's a little less
Murdery.
creepy. Yeah, like a little less creepy, not that much. Um, so my source for this, I used one source, and it was atlasobscura.com/places/Charley the Haunted Doll because he resides in um, a shop in Massachusetts.
Okay.
And there's little to his origin. There's not much known about him. So it was in 1968. I'm taking this directly from the website, so to quote.
Hmm.
In 1968, a peculiar doll was discovered in the attic of an old Victorian home in upstate New York. Found in the bottom of a tattered trunk full of newspaper, the only other item with it was a yellowed piece of paper containing the Lord's Prayer. The old newspaper used to pack the trunk had dates on it going back to the early 1930s, but the actual age of the doll could not be determined. End quote. So, this doll was discovered, and it was added to a collection of other antique dolls by the family that found it, and they decided to name him Charley. There's nothing about the original family. I'm sure if I did more digging, I could probably find something, but I haven't as of this. So if I do, I'll add it to the show notes. But the original owners was a man, his wife, and their 5 daughters. Their youngest daughter was 4. So they just kind of added this doll to the collection that they already had, which is creepy, but I guess not that weird in the 60s, whatever. I don't know. I wasn't alive.
I don't know what it was about porcelain dolls. Like we had, so you've been to the house, so like you've seen the weird like porcelain things that my mother is just like
obsessed with.
I hate them all, but at least they're not like the
They
ones
don't
with the like
feel scary.
well, it's because they don't have the eyes. Like the eyes are painted on, so your uncanny valley response doesn't like immediately trigger.
Yes, they don't
So
feel scary.
yeah, that's what it is. But I still don't like them. It was
Yeah.
growing up. It was such a pain in the ass because like they were everywhere. So if you bumped any piece of furniture, you were knocking over porcelain something. And yeah, we broke a lot of porcelain dolls.
Living my nightmare.
Yeah, we broke a lot of porcelain, and like 99% of them were like, "Oops, we didn't mean to do it." Like there was that 1% where it was just like, "Nope, you're too creepy to live. I have to kill you."
My bad.
Yeah. Oh no, no.
No,
The doll, it's broken. Yeah.
So,
I hate. Oh God.
yeah, same. But so, Charley was lovingly added to his home amongst a bunch of other porcelain dolls on this little bench that the family had, and like that's just where they stored them. So they had 5 daughters, and the youngest was 4, and nobody really thought much about Charley. Like he was just put in the house, and then that was it. Until the kids started saying that, oh, Charley would move. And the kids would say, well, it wasn't me. Like, he just moved. We didn't touch him. He just moves. That's what he does. And, at that point, I would immediately be like, fuck this, I'm out. Honestly, I would have been like that beforehand. Like, the moment it was discovered and he was sitting in a trunk with the Lord's Prayer next to him, like, that would have been it for me. He would have been shipped off to sea. Like, nice knowing you, Charley. But whatever, they didn't do that. So then at that point, if I was living in this house and that happened, I would have been like, okay, no, we're done. But they kept him, and it wasn't until the youngest, the 4-year-old, said that Charley talked to her when she got up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. Now, it doesn't say what he said, but he talked to her. And the parents were just like, oh, it's a 4-year-old, she just has a wild imagination, whatever.
No, it's creepy porcelain dolls.
Correct. Like it I would why would if you collect porcelain dolls, right? And
Mm-hmm.
up until the point that you collected this doll, none of your kids had ever told you the dolls were moving or talking to them. But this one specifically did.
Mm-hmm.
Why would this suddenly happen? Like, I'd immediately be like, okay, I believe you. Let's get rid of it. Like, fuck this. I'm out.
Yeah.
But whatever. 60s. I don't know. I wasn't alive.
I I wasn't either. I know I'm old, but I'm not that old.
So, um, they just kind of were like, okay, like, sure, bud. Like, yeah, definitely talk to you. Sure. And left him alone. But the other four kids believed the 4-year-old because they knew it was moving on its own and, they weren't doing anything. So they were like, nope, hate this doll, scared of it. I am not getting up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. I don't even want to go near this doll. I don't like it. It's super creepy. But they kept it. Parents were just like, yeah, whatever, like kids being kids, ha ha ha. Until that the youngest, that 4-year-old, the same one that was like, oh, Charley talks to me, would wake up covered in scratches and insist it was from the doll and not their cat. So at that point, I don't like that. So at that point, the parents were just like, all right, enough of the horseplay. Like, let's just put him back in his trunk and lock him in the attic and, like, forget about it so that they'll stop with these nonsense stories. And that's what happened. So they put him back in the trunk and locked him in and put him back with the prayer and everything that he was found with and just kind of forgot about him. And everything went back to normal. No more, stories. No more being afraid to walk past the bench. No more crazy things happening at night. No more scratches. Just fine. So I don't know if the parents were ever like, oh, okay, like maybe they were telling the truth or whatever. But eventually, like, I don't know, like the parents died, kids inherited the home, whatever. They were going through everything to sell when they were selling the house. And they ended up selling the doll to some lady that also collected other antique dolls, and she kept this doll until eventually he ended up in
Murdering
this.
her.
Not that I know, not that I know of, but eventually he ended up in this shop called Local Artisan, which is in Beverly, Massachusetts, and apparently that's where he is now.
All right, so avoid Massachusetts at all times.
Well, at least Beverly, Massachusetts.
So I had to
But
look
so
this up. I looked it up because I wanted I wanted to understand one of these things. Like while you were talking, I was looking this up because I'm like I'm trying to understand. It's like why do we have this stupid fascination with porcelain dolls? So apparently, like a lot of things that happened in the United States, these dolls were apparently like big ticket items for like rich kids in like the late 1800s, and then towards the turn of the century they became more readily available in the US. Like the US started to make them, and basically they oddly enough, the when we say things like Chinese knockoffs and stuff like that, Chinese porcelain dolls were actually where this started, and then the US started knocking them off, emulating them and bringing the prices down, and that allowed average citizens to grab them, and they were grabbing them as like status symbols, because it was basically, look, we can now afford what the rich and famous people can now afford, and that's where the popularity of these dolls came from.
Okay.
I don't like it.
I still don't enjoy it, but at least there's a reason for it.
I mean, I get the reasoning, but like, I don't
No,
like.
Isn't that kind of like the same thing as like how lobster used to be like a poor man's food,
Yes.
and then rich people got a hold of it and were like, oh, this is so good, we're gonna monetize it, and now poor people can't have it.
Mm-hmm. Like
But
diamonds
like,
used to be absolutely nothing, and then De Beers
yeah,
bought it, and we're just like, diamonds are best friend, and then suddenly it's like diamonds are now the most expensive, one of the most expensive things, when they are literally one of the most common things on this planet.
they're also mostly ugly. Not gonna lie, I don't like diamonds. Salt and pepper diamonds, very pretty, but other than that, I don't really like diamonds. I think they're really plain.
Yeah, I'm a ruby person. I like rubies.
Well, rubies are nice.
They're really nice looking. Anyway, dolls. Creepy fucking dolls.
Well, yeah, I mean that's basically it. This story was published in on September 17th, 2018. Um, so 2018, 4 years ago, almost.
Okay.
And I haven't really seen an update since then. So I don't know if like the pandemic ended up closing that shop and now Charlie lives somewhere else. I don't know if he's still there.
So he can be anywhere.
Yeah, so Charlie's just haunting my nightmares. And yeah.
So one of the things that I've noticed that we're getting now, since we have a TikTok on there. By the way, Campfire Ashes, follow us on TikTok.
At Campfire Ashes. Shameless plug.
Now people are sending the creepiest shit to us. So like, hey, you need to watch this. Look, I
like the one you
get.
sent me last night, you fucking asshole.
Yeah, exactly like that one. Someone was just like, here's my my collection of porcelain dolls that move on their own.
Oh my god, I've seen her and she talks to them too. They're scary.
Yeah, no. If a doll moves on its own and is not an animatronic doll, I'm burning it.
Oh, even the animatronic dolls that move on their own, I'm burning it. Fucking Furbies, man. I fucking hate Furbies.
My mom has a dancing Santa Claus that creeps me out.
Yeah, no.
I hate it. I hate it. One day, like, it was making like crazy, like creepy noises, and then I realized that like everything was on a timer, and I guess she moved it earlier in the day and just like pushed it too far into the window, so like the weird sound was like it trying to like gyrate and move, but it like couldn't get the motion because it was against the wall. And I'm like,
No.
like I just unplugged it.
Thank you. Nope. Nah.
Yeah, I can't.
No.
I can't do porcelain dolls. There's like a couple things that like are on my like list of like, nope. Porcelain dolls are right up there. And there was a girl I wanted to date like a long time ago, and in my head I was like, she's hot enough to where I could accept that her biggest like thing is collecting porcelain dolls. And I'm really thankful that like I decided, nah.
No. Yeah. I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I'm so freaked out by porcelain dolls. I can't.
So like she was a collector. It wasn't just like I go to wherever and like find these, and it's like, no, she collects like the antiques stuff. So
Keep
even
them in a warehouse.
yeah,
not
even
my house.
even creepier than a porcelain doll is an antique porcelain doll with like the spiderweb cracks in them,
Oh,
because
no,
like
no.
yeah.
No.
So like she would just send me things just randomly, like, hey, look at this, and I'm like, why?
Absolutely fucking not, bro.
I was like, it's like, I'm not trying to be rude, or like, I was like, can you send me boobs? Like that's what a guy wants. A guy does not want like your pictures of porcelain dolls. They don't. We don't. We can
God.
go with that. Look, I'm not trying to be vulgar, but I'm just saying, it's like, of the things on the list of things that men would like to get pictures of, I can guarantee you porcelain dolls right there at the bottom.
Cannot confirm, but also sounds true.
I can no. You go and ask Tom. It's like, ask him what he likes and ask him, where does porcelain doll rank on his list of pictures that you would like to give him. I can guarantee you it is pretty well damn at the bottom.
Valid. That's valid.
And it will ruin someone's day if like your significant other was just like, hey babe, I got a picture for you, and that picture is porcelain dolls.
I just don't. There are things. There are things that should have died at the turn of the century.
Porcelain dolls
And
being
I
one of
mean,
them.
And I mean the turn of the century from 1899 to 1900.
Mm-hmm.
Like way, way long ago. It should have been Death of Porcelain Dolls. And it was
Wait,
not.
you can't kill the porcelain dolls because those things are like fireproof.
Well,
Because it's porcelain. Like these
true.
are like these things were built to last for a very long time.
I mean, if you smash them all to pieces
Well, true. Yes.
and scatter them out to sea,
Yes.
maybe, just maybe, we'd be okay. Or they'd come back as some amalgamation of all of the pieces into one
Oh
giant.
no, no! I play Dead by Daylight, and the Dredge is that the Dredge.
Okay.
So the Dredge, it's a new killer in the game. He's literally an amalgamation of all the dead survivors
Oh God.
from the trials. No, no, no! It gets worse. It gets worse. So there are also like how there's skins and everything like that, like
Right.
cosmetics.
Mhm.
One of his cosmetics, I kid you not, is literally all of those heads and pieces of the body are now porcelain doll things.
Sir, why?
I don't. You know what? I need to send this to you.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. I do. I absolutely do. No, you
Promise
need
you
to.
don't.
You absolutely do. I need to show you how just horrific this is. It's not cool. First off, I'm going to send you the first picture, which is what the Dredge actually looks like, which is basically just a giant murder penis.
Oh. That's
No,
worse.
I'm sorry. That's what he looks
worse.
like. He looks like he's a giant murder penis. Like it is. Have you ever seen the movie Dreamcatcher? It's a Stephen King, a really bad Stephen King movie with Jason Lee and Morgan Freeman. Like
I
the
feel
worst,
like yes, because I watch a lot of Stephen King and read a lot of Stephen King, but it's
literally the
not come to
worst
mind, so
one.
maybe I didn't
You might have like
blocked it from my
blocked
psyche.
it, yes, because it's pretty bad. Like it's a genuinely bad movie, which is surprising because it's Morgan Freeman. Like how do you screw up Morgan Freeman? But they did. Like
I
they
did not.
managed to screw up Morgan Freeman. Okay, here's a picture of the Dredge.
Oh God. Oh no. Do not like.
All right, here's
Not
a
want.
picture. Here's a picture of his
Oh,
skin.
worse.
Why?
Why?
Why did and when it's moving, the eyes wink. Like
Oh God.
the eyes and stuff like wink is like it's. I hate it so much.
Absolutely not.
And I know like a couple streamers, like a couple streamer friends that play specifically this skin because it's like it's so cool, and I'm like, it's not. We're not
Absolutely
friends.
not.
Why are we friends?
Not anymore. You're not friends now.
Oh, I hate. I can't express the amount of hate I have for porcelain. And I'm sorry, guys, if anybody's listening and they're just like, but I love my porcelain dolls. They're like my children. They're not. I don't hate you for loving them, but I hate them for existing. So let's get that straight.
I won't shit on you for your interests as long as they're not like, harming another person. But fuck porcelain dolls. No, thank you. I want no part of it. If that's your thing, you do you. Like, I'm glad that they make you happy and all, but I want no part of it.
I can't do porcelain. I at no point do I ever want those in there. I think at this point it is probably a breakup
A deal breaker.
thing. Yeah, it's a deal breaker. Like I'm single, but like if somebody was just like, "Hey, I like you," and I'm like, "Ooh, I like you too," and it was just like, "So what are your interests?" I collect porcelain dolls. Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Gotta go. Gotta go. There's just
You heard it here first. Probably not first, but you heard it here first. Paul is single, ready to mingle, but not with dolls.
no.
Get that the fuck out of here.
No, please God, no. No, I can't. Like the first thing that the first part of this story, I just hated. I hate it
Immediately
so
no.
much.
You hear it and you're like, immediately no.
And again, guys, we hear these stories for the first time. Like when we're telling a story to the other person, like it's the
We
first
haven't
time we've
shared
heard
it.
that story. Yeah. And oh god, no.
So it's not porcelain, but in the realm of like animatronic dolls. I was 6, I think, and for my birthday, I got one of those baby alive dolls, and like I don't know
Oh,
if you
is
know
that
anything.
like you fill them with like water and they kind of like
No, 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 no. They're like you can really feed them,
oh,
and
they like poop.
yeah, and they eat food and like they make sounds, they spit up, like whatever. I don't know. I, I immediately know. Me at 6 years old, I have to see if there's a picture of it somewhere because I there definitely is. Um, Opened this doll, and I wear my emotions on my face. So like immediately know at 6 years old I was just like. Now obviously I didn't say this because I was 6, but I'd like to think internally at 6 years old, knowing what I know now, I would have been like, the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this?
I can see your face being just so disappointed,
Just
and
immediately know,
the
probably
family
crying.
member like, "What did I do wrong? You should know."
No, I never opened it. Never opened it. Like immediately that was like, thank God for gift receipts because that was definitely returned. And I probably used the money to buy a Barbie because Barbies aren't animatronic and they aren't scary.
I had a girlfriend that collected Barbies. Far
Barbies are
less
fucking cool.
far less creepy um than porcelain
Porcelain
dolls.
dolls.
The only thing scary
I don't
about
know.
Barbies is the price tag because those things were expensive. She bled me dry.
Oh
We
yeah.
we went to Cowtown
Expensive then.
every yeah. We went to
Expensive now.
Cowtown like every Tuesday, and she was just like, "I want a new doll." I'm like, "I am not made of money, woman."
No. Barbies were expensive then. They're still expensive now, and I probably have all of mine somewhere stored away in my parents' attic, and I guarantee you most of them have some really shitty haircuts.
Did you style
Oh
your
yeah, no,
Barbies?
I loved to cut Barbie's hair. There came a point in time where like I would do it and then I'd be like, no, 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 Barbie's magical, it'll grow back, and then of course it never did. So then I was like, oh, maybe I should stop doing that. And then eventually, like, if there's one that I really liked that I cut the hair on, like, I'd ask for a replacement Barbie. So I'd have like a second one where the hair wasn't cut.
Uh-huh.
And then, so yeah, I probably have like a bunch of Barbies up in my parents' attic that have like butchered haircuts that look really scary. Because I would also use nail polish to like give them a makeover. So I probably have Barbies with like blacked out eyes somewhere. If
Oh,
I find them.
your Barbie's
If
still
I find
seeing
them,
some
I'm sending
shit.
you pictures.
No. No, you don't have to.
No, you have to see them.
I do I have
Yes.
to see them?
You sent me the Dredge. This is payback.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I get it. It's my fault.
But even so, still much less scary than that stupid animatronic baby alive doll.
I
I could go on and on and on about how much haunted dolls freak me out, and I guarantee you I will be doing several more stories about other haunted dolls.
hmm.
But for
Yeah, it's
today,
like at some point, Annabelle's gonna make an appearance somewhere on
whether
here.
it's you or me, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But for
Um.
today, I think we've heard enough about haunted dolls.
Oh yeah. Well, anyway, guys. I hope you're liking what you're seeing so far. Hopefully you're not actually seeing porcelain dolls because I hate it so much. But just a programming note. So you know that we're bi-weekly. I'm just letting you guys know now. In the month of October, for like an October thing that we're gonna be doing, we're gonna go weekly for October. Um,
Yeah.
it's a themed week. It's a theme, so you're going to get 4 stories based around a similar grouping of things. That's the best way to describe what I'm going to do without like giving anything away. But yeah, you're gonna get 4 similar stories going around a specific theme. But yeah, we're really excited. We're really excited to kind of like we both love Halloween. I mean, Jess probably loves it far more than I do. Like,
Already went shopping on Saturday. So what is that? Saturday was July 30th.
well, we're inside 100 days, so like,
Yeah.
I know you're
Normally I wait
I know you're
until
counting.
normally I wait until Dunkin' releases their pumpkin spice again before I'm like, okay, it's spooky season. But I have a house this year, and I just discovered there's a Home Goods within a half an hour radius from me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then TikTok, of course, has not been helping. So it's time. It's spooky season. I waited long enough. It's time.
That sounds good. But yeah, so expect weekly stories. I mean, then after that, we're gonna go back to bi-weekly because we're not crazy yet.
I
But
mean, unless the weekly thing is more your jam, in which case, tell us.
oh no, not yet. Like we need to still get into a groove. But yeah, we'll see how we can do. Like this will be a nice test case for us to see if we can handle a weekly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of excited for it. And
I am
we appreciate everybody who was because we have analytics numbers now. Like the first time we did these, because like we do these ahead of time and everything like that, we didn't have any analytic numbers, but now we do. And there are over 20. We're basically have listeners in half the country. And 3 other countries. So thank you, Canada, the UK. Oh no, 4 other countries. Thank you, Canada, the UK, Germany, and Italy. Like, I think that's
Wow.
cool. I think it's a lot of fun that like just random people that we have never met and probably never will meet because like they live on the other side of the planet are like, yeah, I like this. These 2 people are pretty cool.
I don't even know what to say. It still sounds fake, even though I know it's real. I'm like, we literally have the analytics proving it.
I mean, technically, it could be some dude in like Pennsylvania with a VPN to Italy, but like, I'd like to think that there's actually some Italian guy out there, like, yeah, Italian guy or girl, because actually our listenership is actually more women than men. So like, I'd like to think that like some Italian woman out there is just like, yep, this is my show.
I'm gonna tell everybody about it.
So if you are in Italy, we appreciate you. Tell some friends.
Shout out to you.
But everybody else, definitely tell some friends. I appreciate you guys. You guys have been awesome so far. I love the feedback that people have been hitting us up on our Twitter, our Instagram, or our TikTok. Although you guys can calm down with the freaky videos. Like we get enough of that like in our research, and now as I say this, like I can feel the intensity growing, which is like, oh, they said send more videos.
Just targeted yourself.
Yeah, we did. That's what you do. When you tell the internet don't do something, they do it
Immediately they
more.
start doing something.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I just set myself up.
Your funeral, buddy.
Our funeral, because I'm sending you everything that I get sent.
This is true. This is true. You did this to me.
I did. I'm sorry.
No,
Well,
you're not.
technically, this no, I'm not, because this podcast was your idea anyway. So it was yours and Sarah's idea to begin with. So yeah. So yes, this is you're now
That's fair.
reaping what you
I
sow.
did it to myself.
Yeah.
Did it to myself. And remember, last one out douses the fire. If you heard something, no, you didn't. And if you're here with us next time, that means you made it to morning.